We're back on the record in cause number 326622. Mr. Ramos, are you ready? Okay. Oh, here she is.
Yeah, I had to grab something off the printer, Your Honor.
Okay, that's fine. We're on the record in cause number 326622. The case is styled the state of Texas versus Enoch Jose Brianas. Is that your full name?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Brianas, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Brianas, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Mr. Brianas, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Brianas?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing fine. Mr. Brianas, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Burbank. Mr. Burbank, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Your Honor. Thank
That's good. Mr. Brianas, the information in this case alleges that on or about June 14th of 2019, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, operating a motor vehicle in a public place, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more. Mr. Brianas, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes.
And to this charge, Mr. Brianas, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes.
Mr. Brianas, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Mr. Brianas, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And on page 2 of the same document, Mr. Brianas, are these your initials along with your attorney's initials?
Yes, sir.
And on page 3 of the same document, Mr. Brianas, is that your signature at the top above the line that says defendant?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is the trial court certification, okay, he hadn't signed this.
I thought we signed that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Now, Mr. Brianas, on this next document, it's titled the trial court certification, the defendant's right of appeal. Mr. Brianas, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is that your signature above the line that says defendant?
Yes, sir.
There's one box that's checked at the top of this document. That box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Mhm.
The next document that I have is titled Discovery Certification. Mr. Brianas, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is that your signature on the second line above the line that says defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Brianas, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer States 1?
Yes, Your Honor, and I'd also like to offer State's Exhibit number 2. That's the probable cause affidavit for this case.
Mr. Brianas, I have before me State's Exhibit number, Mr. Burbank, do you have any objections to State's Exhibit number 1 and 2?
No objections to states 1 or states number 2, Your
Okay.
Honor.
No objection, State's Exhibit number 1 and State's Exhibit number 2 will be admitted. Mr. Burbank, you advised and counseled Mr. Brianas Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Brianis, your attorney, Mr. Burbank, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brianis, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of no contest and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, it's for 180 days to be probated over 1 year, a $500 fine, 100 hours community service, the DWI education course, the drug and alcohol assessment, the victims impact panel, and an interlock.
Mr. Brianis,
Yes,
the
sir.
state is offering that you serve 180 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve 180 days in Jefferson County Jail because that will be probated for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $500 plus court costs of $402, which comes to a total fine and court costs of $902. You will also be required to pay probation fees of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. Court-appointed attorney's fees will have to be reimbursed to the county. The court-appointed attorney's fees is $250, which will be reimbursed to the county. You'll also be required to pay the Jefferson County DWI education class and initial evaluation fee of $125. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, your total monthly installments for the probation that you would have to pay is $180 per month. Mr. Brianis, would you be able to pay the $180 per month?
Yes, Judge.
And Mr. Brianis, you will also be required to perform 100 hours of community service. You'll have to attend and complete a DWI education class and an alcohol assessment. You will also be required to install an interlock device on any vehicle that you own and operate. And you'll also be required to participate in the Victims Impact Panel program. And you will also have to adhere to the standard terms and conditions of your probation. Mr. Brianis, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, Judge.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Brianis, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Brianis, stand on the X near your attorney, and you're gonna follow the directions of the court clerk. Once you finish in here, you'll be free to go. And you have a blessed day. And Mr. Burbank, once you finish signing the necessary paperwork, you will be free to go on your excuse, and you have a blessed day as well.
Thank you, you too.
All right, you just call a name. Okay, we're on the record and calls number 326-490. 326-490, State of Texas versus Azende Johnson.
Yeah, I got a forfeit bond.
I need to call the name. Mr. Bailey, just call the name of Azende Johnson. Okay, Azende Johnson was scheduled to be in court this morning for 9 o'clock for the court's announcement docket. Her name was called at or about 9 o'clock. She did answer. And the court has been informed by the bailiff that Ms. Johnson is expecting a child and she was in distress this morning. Her attorney, Mr. Wright Kimmler, is also here. He also verified that Ms. Johnson was also in distress. Is that correct, Mr. Kimmler?
Yes, Your Honor. She had an appearance in 252nd a moment ago. We appeared before Judge West. Her case was reset and she was evincing signs of distress and had to lean on the
Okay,
bench.
so for medical reasons, apparently Ms. Johnson had to leave. State, you have any objections to the state now forfeiting the bond?
No, Your Honor, and I also observed what Mr. Kimmler was saying as well.
Okay, so Ms. Johnson had to leave for medical reasons, and her case will be reset. Now, Mr. Kimmler, you have an would you like the case to be reset to?
She's gonna be, this case here, sub judice today, Your Honor, is also the predicate offense for the revocation, the felony revocation in the 252nd District Court, which has set for a contested hearing. I would simply request that
Do you have
this misdemeanor case be set the same day as the felony.
do you have the date?
Kelly hasn't done it yet. She hasn't
Okay,
reset
so
it.
we're gonna reset it with the felony.
Just reset it with the felony. And
Okay.
the
Okay,
NTRP should be dispositive of this case.
okay, and
It's the same plea. And then Mr. Trimble is present, Your Honor.
Mr. Trimble, come forward.
We're gonna ask.
We're on the record in cause number 327-802. The case is styled the State of Texas versus John Paul Trimble Jr. Is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Trimble, stand on the X that's on the floor. Okay, now, how are you doing, Mr. Trimble?
I'm doing fine.
That's good. I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Kimmler, do you have an announcement you'd like to make in Mr. Trimble's case?
Try, Your Honor.
You gonna reset it for trial?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Trimble, your case is gonna be reset for trial. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Kimmler, once you get your reset, this is the only case that's left.
Your Honor, I think we had Stacia Morris and
That person is in
That's
custody.
both of those big cases are gonna be disposed of with pleas. Ms. Morris is actually pleading on her felonies. I think it's this afternoon, maybe.
Okay, we can,
Yeah, she's set to plead this afternoon on her felony cases.
we can reset this on our jail run docket for Thursday.
That's fine. And then Mr. Richard, I'm waiting to
Stacy
get an
Rich-
offer from the state on the misdemeanor eluding. It's a reduction.
Hold on,
It's not set in this court, but I talked to Ms. French about it, and she's supposed to get with the court about getting.
okay, Stacia Lewis is gonna be reset for Thursday. She's on page 3. The first 4 cases she's on the jail run.
So she'll be on the jail run for Thursday, Your Honor?
Yes,
What time? No, I guess 9 o'clock.
it starts at 9. I think this concludes your cases, Mr. Kimmler.
Yes, Your Honor. Just to advise the court, Mr. Richard will be a plea when we get it all lined out.
He's not on our docket today, Your Honor,
Oh.
and what has happened in that case is he had a felony evading. And I've been talking with Ms. French, who had the felony evading, and she's worked out an agreement with Mr. Kimmler. And so the felony evading was refiled as a misdemeanor. He's currently in custody. And I think Ms. French is gonna try and call the court to get it set on our Thursday jail docket.
Okay, that's
so we can
fine.
do
Just
a
to
plea.
let you know, part of the plea bargain did delays or
The appeal and the
On the record in cause number 325292, the case is styled the state of Texas versus Brad Thomas Thibodeau. Mr. Thibodeau, is that your full name?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, how you doing, Mr. Thibodeau?
You're okay.
That's good, Mr. Thibodeau. You're here represented by your attorney, Ms. Marva Provo. Ms. Provo, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, Your Honor.
That's good. Ms. Provo, do you have an announcement you'd like to make in Mr. Thibodeau's case?
Yes, Your Honor, from my understanding, his felony case has been reset for 2 weeks. And we're asking that also this case be reset to that time period.
Okay, do we have
Or 19.
it's 4/19?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's gonna be reset to April 19, 2021. You can get your reset, Mr. Thibodeau. Once you get your reset, you'll be free to go. And you have a blessed day. And Ms. Provo, I think this is your only case.
Yes, Your
So, you get your reset, you'll be free to go as well. And you have a blessed day as well.
Honor. Thank you.
We're on a record in cause number 323474. The case is style of state of Texas versus Jacqueline Hill. Your full name is Jacqueline Sevilla Hill? Sevier? Okay, Jacqueline Sevier Hill? Okay, Ms. Hill, how are you doing? That's good. Ms. Hill, you're here represented by Attorney Bruce Smith. Mr. Smith, how are you doing?
Fine, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Mr. Smith, do you have an announcement you'd like to make in Ms. Hill's case?
Yes, Your Honor. The prosecutor and I have talked. My client has a pending motion to revoke in Judge Stevens' court. And back on March the 11th, Judge Stevens decided to hold it for 4 months. He has her coming back in July to see if she's still continuing to do as well as she has been doing. At that time, we believe that the felony motion revoke is going to be dismissed. Ashley and I both agree that this matter needs to be done, not to be disposed of until that time. So we're asking the court to set this off.
Could we reset it? You want it on the same day?
as the felony.
Okay, I see the felony case is set on July 1st of 2021.
That's correct.
And you want this case set on that same day, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, we're gonna reset this case to July 1st of 2021. And Ms. Hill, your attorney's gonna get a reset. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. And once you get your reset, Mr. Smith, you have a blessed day as well. You'll be free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor. You too.
And just for the record, on both the court's pretrial conference docket and the announcement docket, there's one case, well, there's a case that's Kendrick Booker is, we're gonna be in recess to 1 p.m. And I don't think we have any other, we don't have no bond forfeitures. Yeah, Ms. Ramos, do you have, I looked at my docket. I don't think we have any bond forfeitures.
I've also looked at mine, Your Honor, and I didn't see any bond forfeitures as well.
Okay, so we'll be in recess till 1 p.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you have a blessed day.